Let's focus our attention more on what are things that help pastors stay grounded, stay balanced, and then by extension, if a pastor kind of gets that feeling like I'm out of whack here, what's a first step?
Admitting that there's a problem. you know, I think of COVID and I reflect on COVID, and so many people have said, oh, COVID's brought out these things in clergy, and our schedules are strange, and we're taking on, they're drinking more and all these things. But the reality is, all that was there before. We were never taking care of ourselves. There's so much in the way of that. In the discipline, I think it tells us to take 5 days a year for rest and renewal. And I think what we often do is say, okay, well, it's an extra week of vacation, and we're going to clean the house, and we're going to do the yard, and we're going to take care of that list, instead of actually taking that as this discerned time. And that doesn't mean that you're still not going to hit these bumps, and you're not going to have down times, and you're not going to have those things are going to happen. But as long as you're kind of keeping yourself in check, those times aren't going to be as detrimental as what seems to happen now, which is we just go, go, go. And I think what COVID has done, it's just amplified all of that. We're at home, so we're now working more than 24/7, and we have this guilt, we have all these things, but it's those putting things in place before you get to that place.
If a person, let's say a pastor, just is more maybe the kind of person who really likes to be around people, more extroverted, that Sunday morning for them is about, really connecting with the congregation, shaking hands and hugging, and, just being that sort of pastor with the congregation. And that's been gone for a year.
The interesting thing about my husband Joe and I is that he is way more extroverted and I'm way more introverted. So I see that, and I'm actually even thinking of somebody else in the conference that has been struggling because their depression has set in a little bit more. They've been getting sick. Okay, the physical effects of it because they are not with their people. And this is somebody that's been at their church for a little bit. Okay, so they know who their people are, and it's a matter of how in the world do you make connection again, especially if you're in a rural area. It's about having to get out and find something that is going to clear your head. I mean, and you think about what are the different ways that I can connect. Right now, all of the pastors that I know are pulling their hair out trying to think about how can I connect with my church this month? It's not every week, it's this month. What am I going to do? I'm going to send a card like for Martin Luther King Day or for Valentine's Day. What am I going to do for Lent? A tactile thing. How am I going to reach the people in my congregation? And we're just talking about a monthly thing, not even weekly. So people that feed off, like my husband, who feed off the energy of others, it has been a sad thing because you're so limited. And I will add this, as a pain, I classify myself as a painful introvert. I really, and I'm a pastor. Where God's getting a laugh out of that one, right? And so one of the hardest things for me to do as a new pastor in a new appointment is make cold phone calls. I don't know what these people look like. I don't know a lot of their history. That is hard. It is so hard. And so there are a lot of people just like me out there, clergy folk, that are like, this is not the optimal way for me to be in touch with my people.
For some that I've talked to, getting used to preaching to no one, the just preaching out into this, pews, just empty kind of pews has been a shift for people, especially clergy who feed off those things. So, who tell a lot of jokes in there. I know, Scott, you can relate to this,
No.
who need a lot of interaction and feeding from the people. No, no.